COP27 climate summit is underway in Egypt, where delegates are agreeing to compensate poorer countries that are most vulnerable to climate change. It's the first time the issue has been discussed at a major summit. And it comes as the UN Secretary-General warned the world was headed for climate chaos.
It gives me great pleasure to declare open the 27th session.
Alok Sharma handing over the COP Climate Summit presidency to Egypt. Many of the global leaders travelling here, including Rishi Sunak, who will arrive later tonight, have been distracted by other issues: war, inflation and an energy crisis. But in his last interview as COP president, he is unsympathetic.
What I've been hammering home during this year with world leaders is that you made commitments to phase down coal, you made commitments to come back and revise your emissions reduction targets. Developed countries made commitments on more finance to support developing nations. We have to deliver on that. It is about the credibility of this process, and the whole multilateral process will only continue to work if countries deliver on the promises that they've made.
His counterpart agrees.
What are your greatest fears, given the warnings that the world is not on track to reduce its emissions adequately?
Climate change and its impact is existential, and thereby we should not take the easy road of backtracking supposedly on the premise that there are other priorities. This is the main priority for the globe, for the citizens of the world.
But with nearly 200 nations in attendance, unity is an issue.
Now, more than ever, this COP is a test of the planet's resolve to keep going on trying to tackle global warming. But there is a growing problem here that threatens to undermine the entire summit, and it's the gap between the rich nations who've done the most to cause the climate crisis and the poor nations who are the most vulnerable to it.
Developing countries are demanding compensation for the permanent damage they are suffering, and they want it quickly.
We would like the funds of loss and damage be put on an emergency fund, because the damage is happening right now.
Are you frustrated with the slowness?
Really very frustrated.
In Africa, we don't talk about the climate change. We talk about how people can eat tomorrow, how people can have access in education. You cannot do agriculture, and people don't have nothing to eat.
That sense of urgency, backed up by scientists from the World Meteorological Organization, who say the past 8 years are on course to be the warmest on record, driven by ever-rising concentrations of greenhouse gases, adding more pressure to a summit in search of momentum. Hannah Thomas-Peter, Sky News in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt.